Good Thursday morning. Yeah, Thursday morning. Wow. Jesus Christ. I was going to say Wednesday morning. Hey, welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine YouTube channel that talks about the SUVs and the trucks and the cars and the dogs and about lots of other things. And hey, good morning there. Appreciate you tuning in my channel. As always, I like to get the morning going, talking about the state of the times, the car theme, and the dog. Beautiful. Man, wow, it is so nice up here. Actually, it's a little warmer today. Kid drove the Ram truck yesterday. The wife drove the Jeep yesterday, Grand Cherokee, not the Grand Wagoneer. And actually this morning, I asked her, said, which vehicle, can you tell a difference between the Grand Cherokee and the Grand Wagoneer? She said, oh yeah, for sure. I'm like, really? What's the big difference? She's like, that Grand Wagoneer is so fast. She's like, I don't know if the Grand Cherokee's just not in the right mode. Come on, Willow, you stay over here. The sport mode or eco mode. I said, yeah, but the Grand Wagoneer, we never touch it. It's always just in the regular mode. She's like, oh yeah, that Grand Wagoneer. She's like, that thing is so fast. It is so peppy. So the Grand Wagoneer wins. The 6-cylinder twin turbo beats the V8 5.7 liter Hemi motor. Wow. And the Grand Wagoneer is such a bigger vehicle. In some ways. I mean, I don't know. Looking at it from here. Yeah. Anyways, look at the pond. Look at that water down there. The lilies are coming into the pond. So that kind of sucks, but that's a project. The project for me to get those lily pads out of that pond, I'd have to borderline drain the pond. But like 6 months out of the year, it looks nice and clean. R6. It's that lily pads, I guess. I don't know. Maybe some people like that look. All right. We're in the shop here now. I had something on my mind to grab. I don't know. There's my machete knives I ordered. Anywhere in this world, if you don't carry some type of weapon with you, I think you're a fool. I mean, if you just see what goes on, and today people just beat the crap out of each other. I mean, I have no desire to go beat anybody up, but at the same time, that's what I'm looking for here. I am looking for this product right here. This dry washing guard, the Waterless Car Wash. Okay, see this product right here? This was supposed to revolutionize the world. And in some ways, it did. Dry washing guard, and that's all about water. Let's talk about the water situation, because back in the early 90s, that was a huge concern. And I worked in the fuel industry, and that was a major problem for the fuel industry. And what do I mean by that? I mean that in the garage. Because right now, I have 2 other vehicles. No, 3. There's 3 other vehicles now down in Tennessee. The Bronco. So I haven't got an update of that. No, come on, get over here. And yeah, I haven't got any update on the Broncos status, which I didn't think I would, but it's interesting. One of my car salesmen, he reached out to me, and he's like, hey man, I saw your video yesterday morning, and I didn't see the gold rush. I was like, right. So he's like, did you sell that? I'm like, no, it's down there in Tennessee. So he was like, so he thought I sold the gold rush. The Leesburg Dodge here, where I bought my stuff. So, all right, let's get the day going. Anyways, here, get the mode going. Back to routine. I'm slammed. There's a lot here lately. I mean, my schedule is getting busier. It's just crazy. What's going on in my life right now? Which, thank God, it's a good thing. And so let's get my little phone in here. Got my Freedom shirt on from Bass Pro Shops. I think I should have got an extra large. Putting on a little weight. And the reason I put on a little weight is because I live behind the wheel of a car more than ever. I'm back to just living behind the wheel of a car more so than ever. And yeah, so when you live behind the wheel of a car, you can kind of tend to eat more junk on the road. That's what happens. You eat the fast food bologna because you're just so busy. That's what does it to you. But anyway, so the water, I thought to myself this morning, water. Water is such a key thing to the cars. And in some aspects, not so much as far as the car running, even though you need antifreeze coolant in the engine. But besides that, which is X amount of quantity for your radiator and your engine block, and the percentage of water to the radiator fluid, what's it, I can't even remember the name of this stuff from years ago, with the mixture of the product, but more so about water cleaning the vehicles. I mean, more than ever, the car industry and the car wash, I don't say the wash, just the way I've got that way I pronounce things. People make fun of it. The car wash. So, before we get into the car wash industry, and let me just backtrack here. Back in 1992, I got involved with that car wash product, Dry Wash and Guard, which was a waterless car wash product, car cleaner product that you sprayed on your car, and you were able to clean your car without using water. And the whole, pitch was you're saving water. So in some ways, I was one of the early pioneer guys of the green agenda in some ways. But the reason I was intrigued about that product was because I worked in the fuel industry at that point for about 8 years, 7 years. And the fuel industry throughout the country just over the years has had underground storage challenges of fuels, and it's contaminated the water. So back in the late 80s, early 90s, the government started passing strict guidelines. The Environmental Protection Agency, excuse me, get my voice here going this morning's all crackling up, but the Environmental Protection Agency really threw the hammer down on underground storage tanks because they were contaminating the water system. So the water, so right there, I already knew back so many years ago that water was a natural resource that was being harmed. And at the same time, throughout the world, you know the stories of the droughts and the water challenges in California, the Colorado River, the Lake Mead. I mean, you can go through the list of where you hear stories about the challenge of water. And so back in 1991, or I should say 92, I was introduced to that car product by a company called Envirotech International. And I've talked about this before on my YouTube channel, but I don't know if I talked about it in great depth, but I got involved with the network marketing, Amway style type of business model as I was a fuel salesman and a fuel truck driver, and I was out peddling, selling the snake oil. So many aspects. People look at that stuff like you're selling this magic potion. So very challenging back in 1992, 93, of persuading people to spray something on their car and wipe it in, wipe it off with no water. But it had water in the product, and it was a liquid product, so it wasn't really a dry. It kind of was misleading on the name of that product, because people pictured it being a dry product. It wasn't. It was a liquid. And so you would, show this product in somebody's car, and some just wouldn't believe it. And they were scared you'd scratch their car. So back in 92, 93, I ended up leaving my full-time job like an idiot and selling that product. And it was an extremely challenging time in my life of running around trying to sell a product to make a living. And I busted my chops for over a year and just nothing. It's just too much, too much rejection and not enough return sales. And that's the whole key. It's repeat business. People use up the product and buy it again. And the product didn't take, excuse me. You see, when I sit down, if you watch my videos, and when I sit down, so I'm not sitting down, and it creates a whole different environment versus standing up. So apologies for the coughing and hacking, but I'm drinking coffee as well. It's early in the morning, so hey, how about that, right? So anyways, the challenge of driving around and selling this product to people was a lot of resistance. But at the same time, there were a lot of people that liked it. And it was the early stages of once again, in some ways, the green agenda, meaning that the pitch was back in 1991 that the next 20 to 30 years, there'll be wars over water. And in some ways, I guess you could look at parts of the world, and that's true. But the whole presentation from Envirotech International, from Rod Yank and Jonathan Goldsmith, Rod Yank, former Slick 50 employee of the guy that founded Slick 50 oil additive for your engine, then Jonathan Goldsmith, the Dos Equis beer guy, he was the vice president. Rod Yank was the president. So the whole rhetoric was that there's going to be water shortages, and to save the world, you need to start using this car product to clean your car without using water because you're going to help save the world. So this is 30 years ago. I mean, this is now 30 plus years ago. This product was brought to the market. And I thought to myself this morning, boy, oh boy, here's 30 years later, and California has had so much snow and rain, they've had major flooding. They have too much water now. It's actually, now that the snow is starting to melt, it's creating havoc in California. Now the Colorado River, I think the Arizona and whatever, there's like 3 states that, I think Arizona, Nevada, California, they all have come to agreement they're not going to take as much water out of the Colorado River anymore to help manage that. So here on the East Coast, that Tennessee area, they've had so much doggone rain, it's incredible. And up here, there isn't per se a shortage of water. I mean, so the whole point is that I could look at my experience in life 30 years ago from being told of how it's going to play out 30 years later of the dire straits. It hasn't played out. In fact, what's really played out is the car wash industry has grown by leaps and bounds. I mean, everywhere I travel now, you see all these brand new car cleaning facilities being built left and right, everywhere, where they're just popping up they're being built everywhere. And the investors have actually, some big company, I think out of New York, went public like 2 or 3 years ago. That's just a massive car wash industry, supplier for all these locations throughout the country. And they went public, and they're using that money to build even more and buying out small. What I'm witnessing, a lot of the small independent guys are being bought out by the big guys, especially in this area. But it's just rampant. So all these car cleaning, detailing, self-service, and full-service car care places, they're growing at the most rapid rate ever that I've seen in my lifetime. Everywhere I go, I'm seeing them being built. And I was actually wanting to be in that industry so many years ago, more so just an independent operator here. And if I had paid more attention to what I could have pulled off, I probably would have gotten one and been doing that. But I just had so many challenges going on during that key moment in this area to kind of do that. And now the little guys are selling out to big guys. So now really it'd be much more challenging to open that up. But I was also around the car detail shops back in 92, 93 selling this product, which a lot of them didn't want. A lot of them felt that was going to take some of their business, and they just were resistant to that product. And I was actually detailing cars and vehicles in parking lots to try to make a buck for the day. I mean, oh my gosh, it was bad. So, but here we are later in the car cleaning industry. They recycle the water. That's a major, factor of them managing these facilities, is being able to catch all the runoff water and recycle it to help keep the water bill down. Because as you know, when you're in city water, you're having to pay money for that, and that can add up to be a lot of money if you don't know how to manage that correctly. So the whole point is, the whole projection 30 years ago by key people, and even had at that time the green agenda people, I'm sure, totally on the whole page of, the cars are a total waste of fresh water. That was the pitch, is that you're using clean, drinkable water to clean your car or truck or your boat, RV, whatever it may be. And so it was, it was talked about a lot because I was around that whole time frame of thinking the car care industry would really start to change over to people cleaning their cars without water. That was the whole goal, was people would take this product and spray it in their car. And believe it or not, it didn't. It took the product, but the product went a far away on how you apply the product to clean your car. And yeah, I mean, a muddy vehicle, you know, you're not going to use it on that. But a typical car, it just has road film on it, which is the majority of the cars for the most part. It's just a great product to use in your car. It's a lot of labor. It's labor intensive because of you having to wipe the product on and then buff the product off. So it's not really per se as easy as cleaning your car with a soap, with, you know, a bucket of water and a sponge, because that goes much faster. Ask me how I know. And in some ways, it's cheaper per se as well, instead of spraying the product. So could we look at that? Could I look at myself as an individual looking at the dire straits of the future of what I was told, that water would be a major challenge, you know, 30 years from that time, and the world would be in major wars over water? Can anybody share a story with me right now? I mean, I know you can go to the Middle East or go to Africa, and there's certain parts of the world I know that there's water challenges. But at the same time, is there a major world war going on fighting over water? Yeah, so you step back and you say to yourself, here we are now, and the major constant conversation is that the carbon footprint from these ICE vehicles is going to ruin the world. That these people believe that, no doubt in their mind, that if we don't get our act together by 2040, 2050, this world is going to come to an end. I mean, in so many ways, that is the message that they're telling people, that if we don't cut down this carbon footprint, mankind is going to destroy Mother Earth, and the climate change is going to be so radical that the temperatures are going to be so extremely hotter, and the droughts, and the list goes in the Mother Nature's, you know, hurricanes and tornadoes and earthquakes. You can go through the list. It's infinite of what you'll hear people talk about when it comes to the green agenda's perception of where things are going if we don't get the carbon footprint in order. And I've said it many times. We won't know. I don't think we'll ever know. I even think that if you even have a full transition to electric cars, which I can't see it happening in the next 20, 30 years. I mean, I think to myself, right now, that Jeep Grand Wagoneer, that vehicle is such a nice vehicle. And where we are in today's technology, where we are in today's managing you driving to the store, and the list goes on and on and on, is that a 200,000 mile vehicle? I just don't know in my mind. I mean, 100,000 mile vehicle for sure. So, is that car 10 years from now look like it does today? I think it does. Is that car still around here 20 years from now? I think with the right owner and the right circumstances, it is. So to think that the transition of all these electric vehicles overtaking all these gas cars, we just know it's not going to happen. And it's a pipe dream that everybody and their brother is going to jump. And the only way it's going to change is by the government just taking away the gas infrastructure. That's the only way that it would force everybody to go to electric vehicles, because the government steps in and just bans the sales of gasoline, period. But once again, that's radical stuff. And with 300 plus million cars in this country, over the next 20 years, for them to turn all into electric vehicles and trucks, I mean, it's just, I think the average person will be like, it just isn't going to happen. The transition is not going to happen as fast as this green agenda. But here's the whole point. Even at the end, keep in mind, I just talked about this waterless car wash, dry wash and guard. Here, that product never really took to the market and grew by leaps and bounds. I mean, other competitors came in. But who do you know that uses a waterless car wash to clean their car on a regular basis? I bet you there's a handful if none, in my YouTube channel that would say, yeah, I never take my car to the car wash. I never use water in my car. I use this product. I clean it with no water all the time. Okay, I bet you there's the select few that's doing that. The whole point is, here we are 30 years later, and people didn't convert to clean their cars with a waterless car wash. And the world still, the United States of America, people still have water and have access to water. And okay, so it didn't play out the way they said it would. But it took 30 years to see that come to be. And that's the same thing with electric vehicle infrastructure. It's going to take how many years? And do we even know? I mean, we'll even know. Even 30, 40 years from now, with electric vehicles that are populated like never seen before, did the carbon footprint impact really radically change? Or did the even having less carbon footprint really not change really change Mother Earth anyways? Which that's the whole argument. You won't know. You'll never know. And then the greenies that are so hell-bent on this stuff, they would never raise their hand and admit that they were wrong anyways. I mean, when does somebody raise their hand and admit that they lied? Yeah, good luck on that. In today's society, it's bad. To the point, I read a whole article this morning, they get this. Out of the S&P 500 companies, a research firm, did a survey of 200 of the 500 S&P top companies. And what they're seeing is that when companies see the potential of a downturn, they get creative in their accounting. So they use Google as an example, that Google played with its accounting to be able to make it look like they're making good money still, when in some aspects they're not. Meaning the way they use their accounting, and there's different words that has been known for years. I'm sure that any of the stock market gurus here or the business gurus, probably nothing new to them. It's gone on in previous years, but it's going on right now. Of the two S&P 500 companies, of the 200 they did the research on, a majority of them are changing the way on how they record their profits and losses. And so for Google, one thing they did is they took their depreciation on their servers and computers from 4 years to 6 years. So that was like a 51 cent or I don't even know the exact per share earning gain, or 6 cent per share gain. So the article talks about how people speculated that Google's shares would be at $1.17. They came in like at $1.43, and some other Carvana shares. I mean, so it talks about how the accounting practices are being manipulated, so that like Google, they showed them paying, instead of paying all their employees in January, they paid their the bonuses or whatever it may be. They pushed it to March, so their fiscal year ending in January didn't reflect real expenses, and the computer servers that were typically written depreciated 4 years were pushed up to 6 years. So Google Alphabet's division didn't make any more money. They're actually down in their sales per se and their profits per se, but they've redid their books to make it look like they're not in a shambles. And they're saying right now that's going on more than ever because so many companies are concerned about a recession, and they're manipulating their earnings through what apparently isn't per se illegal accounting practices, but they're just playing with numbers so that people don't really understand that the company isn't doing as good as they think they are. Interesting, Tesla's stock went through the roof yesterday because I guess of its announcement, of some major announcement. I guess the Model 3 update. I didn't even look at it. All I know is apparently Tesla stock. Well, apparently Elon Musk is now the number one richest man again in the world because some other major guy in the game, his portfolio went down. Apple's portfolio went down. So Elon Musk, I mean, this guy, is it just incredible how this guy Elon Musk is everywhere? This guy is like the most dominant fixture right now more than ever. And to me, you got to wonder, he's over there in Beijing. I think he's over there in Beijing, China, and he's rubbing shoulders with the Chinese. And I just think, wow. I think to myself, Elon is getting access to so much of our country's infrastructure, the Twitter account now. He has purchased the chips. You know, the rumor is that he bought up Nvidia's chip capabilities, where for his X.ai that he just started just here 3 months ago and incorporated in Nevada. Yesterday I talked about the chips, or no, that was 2 days ago. I can't even keep track. That was the Monday conversation with the kid hanging out with me. So the chips for Elon, he wants to be the controller of artificial intelligence. That's why he broke away from Sam Altman and Bill Gates at Microsoft, because they own OpenAI. Bill Gates, for the most part, does. And for Elon, he just didn't like the relationship, so he broke away from Sam Altman, who was one of his friends and who was one of the key guys that he buddied up with for this artificial intelligence, the generative pre-trained transformer, ChatGPT. And so the chip manufacturer, Nvidia, has grown by leaps and bounds because they're the number one superconductor chip manufacturer, and they're part of the TSMC, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company in Taiwan. And so apparently somebody bought up a ton of super chips. And now, if you're a company trying to get these new higher level chips, they're back ordered. You can't get them. It may be a 3 to 6 month time frame to even get them. And so now the word in the street is that Elon Musk bought them all up for his own company, so that he's kind of controlling that, would be my guess. I don't know. This is all speculation. This isn't anything I've read in any great length of depth. I'm just speculating that Elon Musk, this guy, wants to be the king of the ocean. We're talking about water. This guy just wants to be it's incredible. For Elon Musk, I think the guy's got, I don't know, man, I just got mixed feelings on that guy. I think borderline, this guy's rubbing shoulders with China. He's in with China. He's the only, he's over there, and you have to say to yourself, what is Elon, the way Elon operates, I think this guy's thoughts are that he's going to outmaneuver China, and he's going to be able to position himself where in some aspects he's got such a strong relationship with China that he has bargaining, negotiating powers over them in some aspects. I don't know. And then I think to myself, but the guy has so much access to our country and the content, that is this guy going to start undermining and sharing this with China? Come on. Is anybody really focused on this guy Elon? Is he a spy? Could we start looking at Elon Musk as the biggest spy ever in modern times? Years ago, I was making fun of Zuckerberg being the neighborhood spy when it all came to be to light that he was selling your information unbeknownst to you on Facebook. I never got on Facebook. I never I never trusted Facebook. I truly thought, when I heard about everybody getting on Facebook and sharing everything, I'm thinking, this is a marketing ploy. This guy is going to take everything that you do, and he's going to brand it, and he's going to resell it, and he's going to make $1 gazillion from people's sharing everything they do, and marketing and advertising companies will know who to fixate their products on to sell products. Yeah, hello. So for now, Elon Musk, is he the Zuckerberg, but even bigger than that, because it's going into artificial intelligence, where the artificial intelligence is going to know everything about you, beyond believable of where we're going with these computers. It's going to be freaky eerie that these computers are going to know every fine detail of how you operate every day of your life. They're going to know exactly when you typically get out of bed, what you're going to have for breakfast, when you go to the bathroom, when you're going to go out for your walk, when you're going to call your spouse. It's going to be freaky that this artificial intelligence will be able to duplicate you And a guy like Elon Musk, on one hand, he's scared of this stuff, but on the other hand, the guy is trying to maneuver the market where he's the number one kingpin that's controlling this. Wow. I mean, it's incredible how we're so today more than ever, we're fixated on this constant rhetoric of the politics, of the debt, of the social justice. It's just incredible what's going on, where it's a distraction beyond believable. But at the same time, you've got such incredible things happening around us that people just aren't really thinking deep into what's going to play out in the future of who you are. And wow, I mean, talk about spy robots that are going to track down people that do devious things to others, that do drugs and sell drugs, and are you're going to have these robots in the streets. They're going to track these people, and they're going to capture these people. I mean, wow. I mean, I just think, yeah. It sounds far-fetched in some ways, but I think anybody here listening to what I'm saying, if you step back and think about where is artificial intelligence going, it's going to know every move and action that you make. So it's going to be able to do a lot of things that people aren't going to be happy with. And it's going to shut down a lot of this. It's incredible right now. We're living in society more than ever where people are having a free-for-all on others, with which in some ways people feel with not many consequences. But I think that in the near future, that's all going to change. I mean, that's all going to change. We're going to flip to a whole different, way. And sadly, you could borderline believe it'll be the China regime that'll be controlling this country's more than ever. And that's everybody's concern when these electric vehicles are. These electric vehicles are going to be tracked and monitored and controlled by your governing bodies. And the list goes on and on and on. Yeah, how did the water conversation turn to this? Well, it's because the focus for me back in the early 90s was water. I thought I was going to have an opportunity to make some really good money by bringing a car care product to the marketplace that would be reusable, and I would be selling a lot of product and making a lot of money at that time. And I met the Ginsu knife guy out of Asbury Park, New Jersey. I've talked about this story before. If I could have signed that guy up, I just may have had my big day of making my millions selling a car care product through the Ginsu knife guy. If anybody knows that, infomercial, days. And so it's all about me saying to you that, here somebody projected what would be one day didn't really play out the way they thought it would. And here we are now, fixated more than ever on green agenda and the ESG, economic, social, and governance. And at the same time, behind the scenes, you got this Chat GPT, which people are jumping all over to advance their businesses and advance whatever they're trying to accomplish through this artificial intelligence. And what's the end result? Yeah. My dad used to say, an Indian behind every tree. I say a Chinaman behind every phone. Yeah, think that through. As you're on your phone, I'm on my phone, and I'm talking and everything else. You don't think everything's being tracked? Yeah, right. All right, everybody, that's it. That is the conversation for the morning. And what are we up to today? I'm just slammed. I have so much going on. It's borderline going to interfere with my travel time. There's just a lot of things that I have going behind the scenes right now. It's good things, but at the same time, it's work, a lot of work. So everybody, appreciate you watching my channel. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned. And what's going to happen to the slingshot? I don't know. Some things are going on behind the scenes there, but nothing's come to fruition yet. But you never know with me. So stay tuned, and thanks so much for watching my channel. And nice comments and support. Share the channel. Have a great day. God bless. Stay safe.